Assalamualaikum friends, welcome to HMA Web Design. In this video we are going to learn the 10 types of input recently introduced in HTML5 and their uses in web development. So let's start the learning. First let's create an HTML form, and method of this form is get, and inside the form we will create our inputs. First of all we have to write the label tag, and our first type of input is input type color. In this input type we will allow user to pick any color of their choice. This is input type color, name color, ID is color, and initial value. It may be any hexadecimal value, 6-digit value. You can give any initial value, and at the end the submit button. Here is the output. User can select any color. Let's add a little bit of styling so that our output may look clean and beautiful. Let's first of all justify content center. We just want to display all the input field at the center of the body or at the center of the screen. So width of all the input type should be 300 pixels. You can set the width according to your choice. So align item center, text align center. So this will center all of the content. Here is the output. User can select any color of their choices, and here is also paste any default color value to change the color of the input. So next write the next input type. Our next input type is date. We are asking the user to write his date of birth. The for is date. Let's change all the attribute according to the input type date. Here is the output. User can select any date, any year according to their choices. Here user can select his date of birth. Next move to the next input type. Next input type is time. Name is time, ID is time. We are asking the user to enter the time. This input will allow us to select the any time in the 12-hour format. Here we can select minute and also can select AM or PM. Next move to the next type of input in HTML5. Here is the other input. You can combine both inputs, time and date, in the single input. If you can write time, datetime-local, so this will combine the both inputs, date and time, at the same field. So here is the next type of input is month. This input will allow the user to select the month and year. What is your birth month and year? In this input we can select the month and any year. We can select any year with month. So next input type is week. HTML file will also allow user to select week of in any year. Here is the input type is week. We can ask user pick any week in the year. In this input type, user can select the whole week in any year. Here we can select a week, month and year. Next move. Next type of input in HTML5. Our next type is input type email. Label for email. And what is your email address? Name is email and ID is email. In this type, user can type input and submit form. Here we can also write the required attribute. This attribute will ensure that user will have to write email to submit the form. This form will not submit until the user will type input. We can also allow for the multiple emails. User can type multiple email address separated with commas. And we can submit these multiple inputs here. Let's move. The next type of input is input type number. Name is number, ID is number. Here we can ask user type your age. What is your age? The label for is number. Here user can enter any number. This input will only allow to enter number. We can also set the minimum and maximum range of the number. Here minimum range is 10, maximum is 20. This input will only allow enter the number between 10 and 20. We can also set the step of the number. This number will be entered in the step of 2. Here the number will increase or decrease by the step of 2. Is 10, 12, 15. You can also set the step attribute according to your own choice. Here the next input type is URL. Name is website. You can write any name here. ID is website. What is your website? And the label for URL. Here is a placeholder. In this input field, user will only enter the URL or link of the website in the proper format. So input URL will be in the proper format as the link of the website. Here this link is acceptable. Next, move further. Next, the input type is tel. HTML5 will also allow user to enter mobile number with a specific input type is tel. In this input, user can enter the mobile number in a specific format. We can also set the pattern in which user will enter the mobile number. The pattern, we have to write the pattern here. First, user will enter 3 number 0 to 9, then dash, then 3 number 0 to 9, then any 4 number between 0 to 9. This is the format in which user will enter the mobile number. You can also change this format according to the requirement. This input will only accept the number with the proper format as we have set in the email input field, and this format is acceptable and this is not acceptable. We can also change the format, first 4 number, then 7 number, and no, we can input the number in this format, first 4 number and then after dash 7 numbers, and this format of the number is acceptable. Now let's write the next type of input. Our next type of input is input type range, label for range. What is your price range? This input will allow user to select the range of the price, and this will display a smooth slider. We can also set the minimum range is 1000 and the maximum range is 10,000 according to our own choice, and the initial value of the range may be 4000. This is our output of the range input. If we want to display the range value alongside this slider, so let's write the proper code for this. There will be some jQuery or JavaScript code to display the range value alongside this slider. So here is the JavaScript function which will display the range value. So next, place this function below the HTML code inside the static tag. This input will display the input of the range. So here we have to copy this line and paste this line below the range input, and this is the on change. This function will call when user will change any input in the slider. This function will detect any change in the range slider, then this value will be displayed below the range. Now value is showing as we change the range of the price. So we can also set the step attribute, display the range in the steps. So this will show the range in steps of 1000.